Hello, and welcome to Learning with the Dawgs. My name is Rhea Bentley, and I'm the County Director for UGA Extension here in Columbus. We have a great show in store for you today, so sit back and relax, and we'll be right back.
And welcome back to Learning with the Dawgs. My name is Lizavia Greer, and I work with UGA Extension as far as the FNIP, which is Expanded Food and Nutrition Education Supervisor for the nutrition program. Today I have some great recipes. As you know, it's football season. We're doing a lot of tailgating, a lot of outdoor parties still while it's still hot, and I have some great healthy recipes that I think that you will enjoy. The first thing we're going to do is mini pepper nachos, and then we're also going to make cheeseburger meatballs, so like a smaller version of your regular meatball. So the first recipe I will start with is the nachos with the peppers. So I just bought some mini peppers at the grocery store, and I cut them in half, seeded them, and took the stem out, so took the middle part out. And I basically just put these in the oven for 12 minutes on 400. Then I have some ground turkey with salsa. I used cumin, garlic powder, and chili powder. And mix that all together and have my meat for the inside of the nachos. And then I will top it with cheese and some cilantro. So first thing, once they come out the oven, you just want to spoon it into the peppers, like so. When you go to your tailgate parties, you want to have recipes that are easy to grab, finger food items. And this is a great recipe. And I did double my meat so I can have enough in each pepper. Okay. Spoon works best for this, a little small spoon. And also the peppers that are a little longer fit better with the meat, but we don't judge peppers. But it does make a difference in putting them in our peppers. Keep doing that. The salsa gives it a, better flavor in the meat too, without having to dip it. So it's already flavored in the meat. So that's a good thing. It's okay if it gets a little messy. Do it to you. And I did use a large bag of peppers. It's up to you. They have different sizes in the store, but I just used one large. That's why I had to make sure I had enough meat. Looks like we're gonna have some extra. Use for another recipe. Almost done here. Okay, looks good. Missed one little baby one right here. Good. So it says you want to put the meat in there immediately after you take them out of the oven. So now I'm going to top them with cheese. It's optional, or not optional, but after you put your cheese on there to really melt the cheese, it's a good idea to put it back in the oven under the broiler for like 2 or 3 minutes. And feel free to use as much cheese as you like. I did get the reduced fat cheese cut down on our fat content. And then our cilantro, just sprinkle that over. And there you have it, pepper nachos. Okay, for our next recipe, we're gonna use meatballs, and it's basically making a mini version of your cheeseburger. So like I said, we wanna make sure that we're using small, finger-like foods for our parties. I'm gonna use gloves for this because touching everybody's meatball. So I have ketchup and mustard here for your dipping. But we also are going to use cherry tomatoes and romaine lettuce. And you can use whatever lettuce you like. Spinach is another option as well. So what I did is I got my meatballs already frozen. But if you want to make your meatballs, that's fine. But just make sure that they're meatball size. You want to put them in the oven, cook them. And then after they come out the oven, you want to cut up square American cheese. And this is just the sliced cheese, and I just cut it into 4s. And then I place them on, if you can see, I placed them on each individual meatball, and then I put it back in the oven to fully melt. I'm gonna show you this here. And then once you do that, you get your skewer or stick or whatever you want to use. The first thing you're gonna do is get a tomato, and these are cut in half. Put that first. I'm gonna use a piece of lettuce. I'll do 2. There's also an option if you eat bacon, you can use bacon as well. I just decided to skip the bacon for the cheeseburger just to have plain cheeseburgers, but it's an option. And then once you get this here, you're just gonna grab your meatball and you're gonna stick it in like this. And you have a mini cheeseburger. I'm gonna do a couple more so you can see how it looks. And this one is pointy on the end, which definitely helps as far as sticking your fold it like this. Stays a little better. And I did use turkey meatballs. Like I said again, it's a little healthier than beef. And also saves on the fat content again. So I hope that you use these recipes for your next party, and stay tuned. We'll be right back with Learning with the Dogs.
Don't miss the annual Tuskegee Morehouse Football Classic, featuring the Morehouse Maroon Tigers versus the Tuskegee Golden Tigers. This is a cat fight you don't want to miss. Saturday, October the 12th at the A.J. McClung Memorial Stadium. Kickoff time is at 2 p.m. Be sure to check out all the classic events, including the classic cocktails and networking. Don't you dare miss the classic parade, tailgating, and one of the largest vendor fairs around. That's the annual Tuskegee Morehouse Football Classic, the granddaddy of them all.
Welcome back to Learning with the Dogs. I am Tracy Saxton, the Family and Consumer Science Educator with the University of Georgia Cooperative Extension Program in Muskogee County. Today is going to be a very good learning day for us to learn about packing a safe lunch. Everyone, learning and reintroducing best practice for packing a safe lunch is what we're going to focus on today. First, let's be reminded of a few rules. Our first rule we want to think about and to learn is how to keep your packed lunch safe. Main thing, you need to clean. You need to wash your hands before handling the foods. For example, ready to go eat snacks, tangible fresh fruits on the go. Also, wash your food and preparation surface, your utilities, and your countertops with soap water. Next, the next rule we need to keep in mind is to separate the items. Ideally, we want to use maybe resealable bags, maybe a zip bag, or we can use our containers. Now, our containers here are plastic and easy to open and clasp, so that makes sure we don't have any spills. And also, it's a prevention from the food crushing. And also, it's also a prevention for the foods to receive other flavors from the other foods inside of your lunchbox. Another rule we need to keep in mind is chill. Not chill as in relaxing. That was a joke. Ways to keep the lunches cold if they're required to be a cold temperature. And one smart way is an ice pack, or some people may say a freezer pack. Now, it's recommended. However, if you don't feel like going to the store or do not have a freezer pack on hand, a smart thing to do is your juice box. You can freeze your juice box, or you can freeze the water in your water bottles and utilize that in your insulated lunch box as a freezer pack for your lunch. The recommended temperature for the cold temperature is 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, what type of lunch bag is recommended? I'm glad you asked. This is a tin lunch bag, but we want the lunch bag to have insulation inside. You don't see the insulation inside, but just picture that. It will have like a gray cushion type filling. And what that does, that keeps the temperature inside of your lunch bag so you can remain fresh food for your lunch. Also, what's recommended is for it to be easily to be cleaned. Next, easy to open. This clasp shows that. And lightweight. Also, the main thing with those insulating lunch bags, we want it to be a waterproof resistance or waterproof lining. Packing your lunches with utilizing these best practices, those rules: clean, separate the items, and chill, not relaxing. And also keeping in mind your child would eat nutritiously and safely.
Don't miss the annual Tuskegee Morehouse Football Classic, featuring the Morehouse Maroon Tigers versus the Tuskegee Golden Tigers. This is a cat fight you don't want to miss. Saturday, October the 12th at the A.J. McClung Memorial Stadium. Kickoff time is at 2 p.m. Be sure to check out all the classic events, including the classic cocktails and networking. Don't you dare miss the classic parade, tailgating, and one of the largest vendor fairs around. That's the annual Tuskegee Morehouse Football Classic, the granddaddy of them all.
Welcome back to Learning with the Dawgs. I am Blacia Jones, Supervisor with Healthy Families under the UGA Extension. And today I am talking to you about routines and transitioning. Yes, school has started back, so many of our youngest learners have transitioned and returned back to school. I'm sure there are many things that demand your attention right now during this time. Today, I will share some helpful tips that will assist you in transitioning during this school year. You are key to your child's successful transition. So first, let's talk about this. Talk to your child about the changes of daily routines, such as the morning routine. So in your morning routine, talk to your child about brushing his teeth, getting dressed, eating a healthy breakfast, checking the backpack, and driving your child to the school or the bus stop. Read books about going to school to help your child with becoming more comfortable with what is happening. Get your child used to saying goodbye and that anticipation of that happy reunion when your child is picked up. So creating that special goodbye, here's an activity. What you can do for step one is read a book about going to school with your child, talk with him or her, and find out how he feels about the new transition. Decide with him or her how you will say your special goodbye. Example of special goodbyes are: give your child 3 big hugs, place a special heart necklace you've made together around your child's neck, blow kisses, say I love you always, or construction paper with art materials and make an art project or a book that will help your child go away and go over the plan of goodbye. Practice your goodbyes daily. As your child has gotten into the habit of school, continue each morning talking with your child about the expectations of her or his day. Assure what you and your child will do together when you come for pickup. Get your child to school in an appropriate time to help your child settle in. Think about how well your routines are working and adjust them as you need. So such as my after school routine. So when your child comes home, have that after school routine. Emptying the backpack, having a snack, relaxing and unwinding and doing some homework. And then later, prepare your baby for bedtime. So that would consist of taking a bath, putting on pajamas, brushing teeth, listening to a bedtime story, using the potty, or getting tucked into bed with hugs and kisses. So I hope you find that these tips are helpful, and here are some stories that you can read to your baby or your child for a good night routine, bedtime routine. So I hope these tips are helpful, and we wish you and your family much success in this school year.
Don't miss the annual Tuskegee Morehouse Football Classic, featuring the Morehouse Maroon Tigers versus the Tuskegee Golden Tigers. This is a cat fight you don't want to miss. Saturday, October the 12th at the A.J. McClung Memorial Stadium. Kickoff time is at 2 p.m. Be sure to check out all the classic events, including the classic cocktails and networking. Don't you dare miss the classic parade, tailgating, and one of the largest vendor fairs around. That's the annual Tuskegee Morehouse Football Classic, the granddaddy of them all.
Hi, I'm Skip Henderson, Mayor of Columbus, Georgia. We are producing a few videos that are going to hopefully help you navigate the process of government. How-to videos, everything from how to adopt a pet to how to get a pothole fixed, how long should it take. Now, we're going to start with our 311 system, which is our intake system. For almost anything you need to get done in government, you can dial 311 and it starts there. Now don't forget, if you have a medical emergency or a law enforcement emergency, you still dial 911. For everything else, it's 311. Let's go take a look.
Hello, I'm Tiasha Johnson, the manager for the 311 Citizen Service Center. 311 benefits the citizens of Muskogee County in a number of ways. If there is a drainage problem in your neighborhood, dial 311 for help. If a property is a public eyesore with high weeds, illegal dumping, broken windows, dial 311. If you see litter in your area, dial 311. Or maybe if you see damaged street signs or traffic signals not working properly, dial 311. If you have garbage concerns like missed trash pickup, misplaced cans, or if you're requesting a recycling container, dial 311. 311 is available for citizens to speak to a live agent Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Citizens can also email us at citizensservices@columbusga.org, submit an online request on our city's website at www.columbusga.gov, or on our Facebook account at 311 Citizen Service Center. Just remember, 311 is the direct line to local city government. Simply dial 311 from your phone or 706-653-4000. 311's mission is to provide essential services to the citizens of this community.
Thanks, Tiasha. I hope that information helped you. By the way, keep in mind, if you dial 311 and end up in a nice conversation with a lovely lady from Albany, Georgia, sometimes the cell service routes us to the wrong community, but you can still reach your intake center by dialing 706-653-4000. Thank you.
I'm Zabria Roberts, and I'm a 4-H'er here in Muskogee County.
So I invited Zabria here today to speak with us a little bit about what 4-H has to offer our high school students. So Zabria, tell us a little about you.
I am an 11th grader here in Columbus, and I'm also a dual enrollment student. I participate in FBLA, the Youth Advisory Council, and Yoga Club, as well as 4-H.
So what was your first activity that you participated in as a 4-H'er?
My first activity in 4-H was the pea nutrition competition I did a while back. Basically a competition that involves making a recipe that involves peanuts.
So what are some of the 4-H activities you are involved in now?
I'm currently involved in DPA, which is District Project Achievement. I'm also a team leader as well as a STEM ambassador.
So what is DPA?
DPA, as I said, is District Project Achievement, and it's where throughout the whole year we collect everything that we've done and make a portfolio. And we take that portfolio as well as a competition that, in something that we like to do, interest of ours, and we take it and we compete with it against other 4-Hers.
So what is your category?
My category is communications.
Okay, great. So this year you are a Georgia 4-H STEM ambassador, and what does that mean, and what was the application process like?
That means that I, amongst a couple of others here in Georgia, we decided to, go ahead and fill out that application online and take the chance and become an ambassador in 2 different tracks. So you have the healthy living track, and then you have the STEM track. And so I chose the STEM one.
So why did you choose STEM?
I chose STEM because for a while now I've done like different STEM activities, and I really enjoy the whole aspect of it.
So I see that you have all these ingredients out here. So what will we be doing today?
Today we're going to be making ice cream in a bag.
Okay. And why do you choose this activity for your STEM lesson?
I chose this activity for my STEM lesson because 1, who doesn't like ice cream? And 2, it is a fun way to show how easy and fun science can be, and you're still learning something.
So, what are the steps needed to make ice cream in a bag?
Okay, to make ice cream in a bag, you're going to start with a bowl or container of ice, and you're going to put your salt on top of it.
So how much salt?
We're going to put 5 tablespoons of salt onto our ice.
Okay.
Yeah, just going to spread it throughout the ice.
Ooh, I can hear it crackling.
Yeah. So the ice and the salt is basically a chemical reaction, which is what makes this science, is because when the ice and the salt get together, the salt is lowering the freezing point of the ice. So when you put it in contact with other things such as our heavy cream and our sugar, it'll take all of the heat out of it, freezing it faster.
Okay. So what's next?
Now we're going to take a Ziploc bag. Yes. And we are going to put our heavy cream, sugar, and vanilla inside of the bag.
Okay. You want me to hold the bag?
Yeah, you can hold the bag.
Okay.
And I'm going to start with the heavy cream. You're going to put, we're going to put 1 cup heavy cream in there. Okay. Now we're going to take our tablespoon, and we're going to put a tablespoon of sugar in there. And then now we're going to put a teaspoon of vanilla. Okay. There we go. Now you're going to seal your bag, trying to get all the excess air out of there. It's really important.
How important?
It's like crucial.
Okay. What next?
Okay. So now you're going to put it in your bowl.
Okay.
And you're going to try to get it down in there. Give me that.
It's already freezing.
Yes. So try to cover up your mixture with the ice. And now we're going to shake it. You want to shake it?
So, and how long are we going to shake this?
We're going to shake it for about 10 to 15 minutes.
Okay. So obviously this is not for consumption because we haven't followed health safety protocols with the gloves and stuff. So in 10 to 15 minutes, the kids will have ice cream to eat, correct? So what do you think that the kids will take from this or learn from this activity?
Well, besides that ice cream is good and all, I hope that they take that science can be fun, as well as different subjects under the STEM umbrella. It can be fun, and you can also still learn from it.
So how has 4-H helped you now, and how do you think 4-H will help you in the future?
4-H has helped me in ways of networking with people and getting to know more people, as well as bettering my public speaking skills, learning more about the communication aspects or how to build a resume. It's just helped me overall.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you soon with Learning with the Dogs.
Don't miss the annual Tuskegee Morehouse Football Classic, featuring the Morehouse Maroon Tigers versus the Tuskegee Golden Tigers. This is a cat fight you don't want to miss. Saturday, October the 12th at the A.J. McClung Memorial Stadium. Kickoff time is at 2 p.m. Be sure to check out all the classic events, including the classic cocktails and networking. Don't you dare miss the classic parade, tailgating, and one of the largest vendor fairs around. That's the annual Tuskegee Morehouse Football Classic, the granddaddy of them all.
Welcome back. My name is Tammy Keith, and I'm with our Parents as Teachers Home Visitation Program. And today we want to talk to you a little bit about the basics, which you've probably heard about all over Columbus right now. So in the Chattahoochee Valley, we are looking at some basic ways that parents can help their children create a good foundation for school readiness. And so today we're actually talking about one of those 5 basics, and that's the count, group, and compare. So we're looking at some early foundations for math and some ways that you can do this very simply every day. So we really want you to incorporate it into your daily routine. So counting, for instance, using some of the toys that are available, just being able to count those things as you're stacking Legos with your child, as you're playing with balls. If you have the magnetic numbers on the refrigerator, adding to that. So if I see a number 2, putting 2 things there. So I really start to understand, what does 2 look like when I hear that word. It's not just enough that we teach them to count numbers by rote. We also want them to understand, what does a 3 look like and what does that mean. So we do want you to count things and count often, and we want you to let, have children count them and touch them as they count them. Incorporate it into your daily routines, even when you're not playing with toys. How many handfuls of clothes do we have that need to go into the washing machine? How many socks are coming out of the dryer? How many cups of water can we fit into the bucket? Those simple things. We want to be able to gather some things together and count them, divide them in half, count them again, divide them again, count them again. How many groups do we have? So we really want counting to be part of everything that you do. We also think about, as we're walking, count the number of steps it takes us to get from the kitchen to the bathroom. How many steps does it take us to get from the car to the house? So those things are ways that we can add numbers and counting into our daily routine with our children. We also want you to get them to start looking at things, how they're alike and how they're different. And so for us to be able to group things together, we usually look at either their same color, they may be the same shape. We look at how things are alike or how they are different. So we want to group things. And so using some of the same toys that we may count, we can also divide them into groups. How many yellows? Let's put all the yellows over here. Let's separate the greens. So we can definitely separate and group by color. So what we're looking at are those attributes or those characteristics of things that will allow us to put them together. We could easily take all of these toys as well and say, well, let's just find all the ones that are squares. Let's find all the ones that are rectangles. Let's find all the ones that are circles and separate that way as well. But we can also be looking, as we're out walking, we can look for shapes, we can look for color, we can look for things that are tall, things that are short, what things have leaves on them, what things do not. We can also, when we're doing the laundry, matching the socks together, having just the socks there and let your child match the ones that go together, so we can start grouping that way. And we can, when we sort our laundry, being able to say we put shirts here, we put shoes here, we put socks, we put pants, sorting that out, having them know that there's a reason that all these things are grouped together, what characteristic, what attributes puts them together. And then we want to be able to compare. So after we've kind of counted a few things and we've learned to sort, let's also compare what we've done. Let's look at how these things are either the same, and if they're not the same, how are they different? So comparison is also gives us that idea of how we reason through things. So one of the simplest ways to do is looking at things that are maybe big or small, looking at 2 things and say, which one's the big one, which one's the small one. We really want to start using the language of math. So we're looking at big and small, we're looking at large, we're looking at little, we're looking at tall and short, we're looking at full and empty. Those words that are sometimes think of as opposites, but also give us an attribute that makes things comparable. So one thing to do this is with toys. We can do big and small with blocks. We can do it with cups. We can look at, even in the bathtub, can have some bathtub fun with water, with 2 of the same types of cups, especially clear, to be able to pour water and say which one has more which one has less. So more and less, those are two concepts that children need to start to understand. Then once we've got that, where I can take two things and I can find the big one and the small one, or I can find full and less, then we add a third in there. So if we have 3 cups, we can find the big one, we can find the small one. But now we can introduce biggest and smallest, because we have something that's not the biggest and something that's not the smallest. So as we add more in there, we start to look at seriation, and we can go from biggest all the way down to smallest, and we start to order things. We can compare things. So simple things to do at home when we're not playing with toys. We can also look at, as we're sorting those socks to fold them, which ones are the big socks? Whose socks are the small socks? Whose socks are the largest socks? So we really can look at things that are in our home to get a better idea of that. We can also look at the height of all our family members. Who's the tallest? Who's the shortest? Who's in between? We can go from tallest to shortest. So there's ways that we can work this in to our daily routine. Looking at the size of everybody's shoes, the size of everybody's feet or hands, gives us a good way to start using some of that math vocabulary. So we encourage you to get out there, use books from the library to encourage counting, and read about how to group things. One of my favorite books is Feast for 10, so it is a counting book, but it also groups things. So we're looking at groups of tomatoes and potatoes, and we compare which one's got the larger group, which one does not. So there's a lot of math that can go on while we're reading as well. We want to start using those math words and start a good foundation for that, so that then they can build on that as we get ready for school. So we hope you explore the Basics website here in Chattahoochee Valley and get some more information. You can also get information from the local libraries who are also supporting this initiative here in Columbus. And you can also call us if you want more information about the Basics or anything you've seen on TV today. And that's at 706-643-4200. Thank you.